Welcome to Cosmic Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Hi everyone, Daphne Lage here. Join Nita Lanning and me on the Ragin' 2 The Vlogs show, where we talk about everything, nothing, and all the bits in between. Looking for hour-long conversations about indie comics, social media marketing, and crowdfunding, with the occasional rant and story time? Head on over to the Ragin' 2 channel on YouTube, Mondays through Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern to join in the chat.
Hit the button.
Ed Gein, Demon Hunter, on Indiegogo. After a deranged demon escapes the bowels of hell, Satan is forced to send a damned soul back to Earth as a demon hunter. Armed with a sacrificial dagger, Ed returns to his old stomping ground to capture the demon before the universe is destroyed. Ed Gein, Demon Hunter. Issues 1 and 2 available now on Indiegogo. Prepare for the ultimate face-off.
Come get some.
We've crossed paths more than once. I've whispered in your ear, shown you harmless little temptations. I am unknowable, yet you know me intimately. But you can always know me better. Collected here are 20 twisted tales that will thrill, chill, incite, and delight you from some of the most imaginative minds your species has to offer. This exclusive Indiegogo printing of The Devil You Know Better will be limited and numbered, with signatures from Mike Barron and Hart D. Fisher. Stretch goals achieved for this campaign will add interior chapter illustrations by Stefano Cardacelli. The Devil You Know Better. Back it on Indiegogo today, while you still can.
The city of prosperity. Riches for some. But for the masses, scraping by is all they can do. Meet Bitna. It's a hard life with an even harder reality. Living in the roughest part of town, it looks impossible to make it big. But maybe she will find it in a simple dress. The Radiant Sight, a new romance story by Martin Fisher.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com. And tonight, we are going into the world of crowdfunded comics. We talk with a lot of crowdfunders. In fact, we're running a lot of their promos. And Frog G has shown up and done yeoman's work, or showed up before the boss and did the work. So we'll pretend he's been here all night, and then he can just go home. Say he pulled an all-nighter. Thank you, Frog G. Appreciate everything you do out there with your wrench and putting the links in the chat. So let's get right to it. And I'm not going to say the creator because we're talking with a creator, but he's taken his little thing and become publisher. So this is something new. This is something I expected to see crowdfunding evolve into. So let's get into it with Mike Jimmy Lorsha de Bruin from the Netherlands. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Well, a little tired, but
I bet. What is the time difference? I always forget. I know it's like 6 to 8 hours later.
It's 2 a.m. right now.
Oh man,
we're 6 hours ahead.
You're on the opposite end of the clock, and then a little bit more from me.
Mm-hmm.
So, you don't have to work tomorrow, though, right?
Well, my planner didn't send me any texts. However, if I get woken up at 6 a.m. tomorrow because my colleagues are like, "Hey, where the hell are you?" Yeah.
Then you go. All right. Well, so first thing I want to talk about is the fact that you're a publishing house now. I mean, you've evolved from just this guy who was doing Life on Core and a couple of other side books that were all yours to bringing in other people's properties. What's the logistics behind that? Because I couldn't even think about doing that.
It's a lot of planning, a lot of frustration, but it's also really fun to be able to give other people the opportunity to make their ideas and livelihood work. I mean, with Martin, it was an easy choice because he already did Lava Cora 3 and 5 on writing wise. So I was, he came to me and was like, "Hey, I want to do this webcomic." And I was like, "Do you think you can pitch it to like 1 to 6 issues of 32 pages or 3, maybe 4 parts of a 48 page, 4 books, 48 pages for a graphic novel?" And a week later, he came to me like, "Here's the entire script."
Oh, wow. Okay.
He is a writing beast.
Yeah. But I know that when you guys crowdfund your own book, even if it does well, the take afterwards is not that much. So then to take it another level in and say, well, out of that not that much, I'm going to be a publisher and get not that much of that not that much.
Mm-hmm.
What's the incentive to even try that? I mean, if you're not a big press like DC or Boom or
Faeries and Ents has always been a publisher. So the only reason I haven't ventured into full-on publication yet is because we did have one series that I was going to publish before, and I had a very bad experience with the creator. That was in early 2019, and that caused me so much stress at the time. With my ex somewhat running the company as well, we were a team. That I was like, okay, we're gonna take it down a notch. This is too stressful for me. But after she left, and there was a little less of the, well, it's my money, so I'm paying, so it's my word. I'm very good at being a manager.
Yeah, when you can manage, right? When you're allowed to.
When I'm allowed to, exactly. Like, we've done 3 anthologies before, and I've met a whole roster of amazing creators through that. And La Foncora is just managing really well, because I'm working with people that have proven themselves. They've, applied their qualities to books that we can all be proud of and really are.
Yeah.
So this was just a natural step for me to just continue with.
Well, I can tell you from my own experience, because we're a publisher too, but we kind of publish short story anthologies. We don't Well, we had published one other guy's full-on novel. That was a contract deal, though. It wasn't like every month we've got to do something else. I will say that once you've published one thing that's somebody else's, everybody else starts to come.
Yes.
So I you know enough people in indie comics who are trying to make it. That when they see that you successfully put out a couple of books here, you're probably going to start getting your DMs and emails filled up with, "Hey, would you take a look at this? Would you take a look at that?"
Yeah, well, I mean, I have said pretty much since I started doing podcasts and live shows, like, if you want to pitch your story, just make sure it's done. I'm not going to take that big a risk.
Oh, yeah.
But I can get a pretty decent printing deal, and you're going to get into a completely new environment when it comes to publications. I mean, I'm publishing The Sin Killer as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, these are going like hotcakes. So yeah, like, I know my risks. I want to minimize them, but with the Radiant site, Martin and I both paid an artist and our colorists separately. So this is actually funded through ourselves, and now we're just looking to cover the print run.
Right.
And it's working out. I'm gonna print it anyway. That's the thing too. Like, I have no doubt about this series. So we're just gonna get it done.
All right. Yeah, Peter Smetty's got pretty much the same policy too when it comes to pitching. It's like, don't give me an idea, give me a story, show me the whole
Yes.
thing caboodle. And I'm pulling for you because I think that there's a lot of creative talent in Northern Europe that is probably looking for an outlet, probably doesn't want to crowdfund their own stuff, and they see you do it, and once they do, who's going to read it? We are over here because Indiegogo and Kickstarter have both become the local comic shop for so many of us now.
Yes.
For material.
And with Critical Blast shipping, it's actually affordable.
Look at the plug.
There we go.
I did not pay him for this, folks.
No, but
I did
it's
not pay
true.
him at all.
And trust me, the amount that I'm saving on you fulfilling in America is absolutely insane. And yeah, like, I can't tip that.
Well, we're doing our best, and we've got other irons in the fire in that regard too. So, if it pans out, we may be able to ship anywhere in the world from anywhere in the world for $10.
That sounds like a dream. And yeah, I'll be the first in line when it turns out that way.
Well, let me share the project that we're talking about top of the list here, because you have a couple of them, but this is the one I've got shared. This is the Radiant site, and from reading the inside of it, and I've read the interior, folks. So I'm going to speak from a place of knowledge this time. Usually I come into these things ignorant as a stump about what the content's going to be, but I have read and reviewed this one. It's published on criticalblast.com if you want to read my take on it. I kept it as spoiler-free as possible. But it reads like visually like a manga, not backwards like a manga, but in the style and in the dialogue, because manga has a very certain specific dialogue style, the way people speak.
But here's the question that I want to ask you, because you've read both Life on Korra and you've 3 and 5, and you've read the Radiant site now.
Yes.
Would you recognize the writer in it?
No.
Martin does his research. He is really good at taking a completely different writing style and making it his own. And yeah, like, when I was going over the script as well, I was like, are you sure you wrote this? Like, this is 100% different from Life on Korra when it comes to writing. But it's still amazing writing. The pacing is amazing. He really knows what he's doing. And
you gotta read a lot of it and then get that thing in your head. I did a short story that I took before a writers group when I lived in Little Rock, and it was about Winsor McKay. the guy who did Little Nemo and Slumberland. And the chapter I read was one of Winsor McCay's childhood dreams. It's a very complicated story, but basically Slumberland was real, and he was experiencing these things and then writing them down later.
Yeah.
And I did this Slumberland segment where he meets the princess and they're talking, and he's like, oh, and oh, look at this. What is that? And it was very stilted kind of dialogue, and I knew they were going to hit that, and they did. And but then there's like this one older gentleman, and I mean, yeah, he was past retirement, but he was still a writer, and he stood up and says, "You're all going to peg the dialogue. Let me tell you." He nailed it. That's exactly how those strips were written in the 1930s for the Little Nemo and Slumberland. So, yes, it sounds weird to us, but that's what research does when you go back. Same thing when I did this one here, the Alice's Journey Beyond the Moon, that Telos published. They send it back there because they're like, hey, your spelling in places here is the grammar's off because you got extra apostrophes in certain words. You'd be like,
no.
I was like, well, I know that I do and you do and you see it that way, but here's a page of the original manuscript that Lewis Carroll wrote, and the way he did it was if there was a letter taken out, he put an apostrophe there to represent it, which made it just as long because he still put a character there for it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I was struggling for authenticity, and they were like, oh, we see, we understand, carry on. And so I did. Mike Walters in the chat. Hey, Mike, glad to see you here. Glad you stopped and gave it a like. Always appreciate that. Mike will be going on the live at the mic stand over on his channel in about 42 minutes now. So, when we're done here, pop over there and get tonight's niche news and find out what's going on in the world of pop culture.
I'm sorry, I'm going to miss that. I'm going to be asleep.
You're going to be asleep. You may be asleep before the end of this show. We'll just, talk
No. I chucked up some coffee. I'm fine.
Now, this is covered by E.J. Sue. I love this.
Yes.
This bifurcation, you almost miss it because you're so focused on the beautiful girl and the dress and the drawing that you totally miss the fact that the world itself is split between the slums where she lives as Bitna and the gleaming towers of the world of, I forget the gentleman's name now, but he's the rich guy, the prince, Prince Charming.
Thomas Gould.
Yeah, it's very much Metropolis, where the upper class lives in the upper realms and she's down in the slums.
Exactly.
But how did you find E.J. Sue? Because this is a new cover. This was not around the last time I saw the Radiant site being planned.
So Martin knows so many people. And he came to me like, hey, I got a buddy, E.J. Sue. You might want to check him out. And I'll send him a message, and we're going to get a variant cover from him. And I saw him on Instagram, and I was like, oh, yes, we are.
Yeah. And it's not just the art, it's the coloring. And I'm looking specifically at the flesh tones here.
Yeah.
Because he's got the reflections on skin and the variations. And if you're very, very sharp-eyed, you'll see the difference in makeup as the face is split here. There's no makeup on this side. And now you got blush on the cheeks over here. Excellent job.
Yes. No, he's an amazing artist. And again, Martin knows so many people that I'd never heard of. The trailer voiceover is done by Vanessa Marshall, who's done Hera in I think New Gods or some cartoon. I keep forgetting the name of the actual cartoon, but she's a very well-known voice actor.
I was going to say, I know that name. Mike Walters, you're the voice actor guy. You'll probably know Vanessa Marshall.
Like he literally just hit her up and was like, yeah, I still owe her a favor from a couple of years back. And I'm like, how? What kind of world have you been living in?
and he's just writing Life on Korra for you. Right under your nose, you've got this.
Yeah. No, like he applied for writing on Laugh on Korra, right? And he actually was one of the few people that actually pitched properly and was like, okay, I'm interested in what the actual job. Um, these are my credentials: Lego Star Wars comics, Transformers cartoons, um, Lego Ninjago, and just a whole list of things that he'd worked on. So I saw that one come in, and I literally replied, "Are you sure that you're
You know
applying
what we
for the
pay,
right
right?
job?" And he was like, "Yeah, no, this sounds like fun." And I'm like, really?
I can empathize with that because when we do our anthologies, one of the things that I'm always trying to do is use my connections to reach out to well-known writers to get a couple of those in the book, so that the new writers
Yeah.
that I expect to be applying will, first I'll pick quality stuff, and then these new writers will say, "Hey, I got published, and I'm published with,"
Yes.
and get to point to these other names. But this last time around, I was like, the people, the pedigree of the people who were applying. I'm like, one guy's got a Disney Plus show. And I'm like,
Yeah.
really? You sent us your story. You work with Disney and you sent us your story for $20 in a book. Okay, yeah. we'll take it. But very.
Here's the thing
I was
with
very
people
pleased
that.
with it.
Here's the thing with people that work higher up, right? Also, hey,
Good to see you, Alfredo.
the higher up you work, the less creative freedom you have.
Yes.
And when it comes down to, and I'm even feeling it with Love on Korra right now. We are stuck after 5 issues with what we're going to create, what kind of story, length, what kind of level of depth. The first 2 issues were fun. The third one, Martin came in, and Kimberly came in with issue 4, and you realize you gotta you're starting to create an expectation for your audience, and you want to meet those expectations. So yeah, you lose a little bit of creative freedom, and I'm lucky to be working in independent comics because I still have that freedom. I'm still the editor, so I say what goes. But yeah, like, you do get constricted a little bit.
Yeah.
And to be able to have smaller things, where you just go out and do something completely different because you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, it gets boring. People want something else.
Well, I'll take it. They were great stories. I can't wait to get my copy of it. I don't have my own copy of my own book that we published yet. Authors have bought author copies because that's one of the deals I make. I'm like, hey, if you're published in our book, you just tell me how many author copies you want, and
Yeah.
I will tell the printer, send these copies here, and I'll send you the invoice, and you just pay direct, and I'd make nothing off of it. You're getting them for cost,
Yeah.
just to get the books out there, which I think that's a very fair deal. I don't even limit it. You want 1,000 of them? Sure. You going to a big convention? go to town.
Yeah. No, I do exactly the same.
So both of these covers, by the way, are gorgeous. I'm surprised that you don't have a layout like this for this cover so that people can get the full effect of it there. But
yeah, good point. I should fix that.
it would have made it easier for me to steal the cover for the thumbnail instead of having a bigger cover. But I did find it. I persevered.
You could find it on my Facebook.
Yeah, that's where I got it.
I figured.
But both of these covers, first of all, they deserve to be prints. They're both.
They are going to be prints. They are going to be the boarding on the comics.
They're going to be what on the comics?
They're going to be the backboards.
Oh, so you're going to print them stiff?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's cool. and I'm assuming this is Korean for the Radiant site under the
Yes,
subtitle here.
that was Martin's idea, and I'm stamped behind it. He wants to keep the theme going. He's actually going to get the complete comic translated in Korean as well, and start uploading it as a webcomic after this is completely done and everyone has their books. But yeah, he knows that this could become very big in Korea, and he's going for it. And I am behind him 100%.
Now, do you think that the Korean readers might say, "Hey, what's this Brit guy doing writing
You'd be
a
surprised.
book in our culture?"
From what I gathered from his research, because he's been watching way too many K-dramas, a lot of writers are actually American and Britain based. So it's actually not as bad as it might sound.
Well, that's good because because I want to see this thing succeed as much as possible. And now there's no word balloons in here, but
Yes.
having read it, and these are very random pages. You're not even getting like this page goes to this page. They're pulled from far deep into the book. Reading it, I could, as I said, the dialogue is very much like manga. So because of that, I could hear anime voice actors who would be
Yes.
covering all of this. It's primed to become something more than just a collection of paper drawings. And you're right, El Crudo. This thing has a fabulous color palette, especially
Again,
when
Martin knows people. He got Yannick and Ellen on board, who are a creative couple, both colorists. And he was like, "Hey, I got these guys. They work for me for Legos anyway. Do you want to get them on board for this comic?" To which I reply, "I don't have the money for a colorist, but if you want to pay it, be my guest." Which he did. So I'm very happy about that because my wallet was already crying after just creating the pages.
The man is committed to making
Yes.
this best book
Yes.
possible. So the tiers that you've got here, and I backed one of them. I don't. Oh, never mind. I know my selection because it's telling
Yeah.
me.
You got
right
both
there.
variants, yes.
I did because I couldn't decide. It sometimes it's like
Yeah.
that cover's cool, that cover's cool. Oh, there's the one I want. But this one was like, no, I need both of them. Because they were just too good. So £3 for the digital copy, £10 for the physical copy, £15 for the physical copy here. Obviously, £25 added up. We'll get both, which is what I picked right here. That's my tier. And you have a retail tier. Now, has anybody jumped on that? Because
I don't think so. Nope, not yet.
Actually, scroll down and see. It shows me here too.
Yeah, but nobody took it so far. But I'm not too worried. But yeah, you get 60% off. So
that's a great deal. And if the retailers don't take it here, maybe they'll take it through my catalog.
yeah, of course.
We'll definitely list anything we have extra after the shipping. Oh, thank you, Mike Walters. I did not know this because I am not a full-blown-on weeb. They are not Korean manga. They are called manhwa.
Yes,
in
manhwa.
Korea. So I'm not surprised that it's very close phonetically. But
Yeah.
Have there been any Korean orders? Because that's one thing I've noticed in all the fulfillment I've done. I've had one campaign where one person in Japan bought a book, and like, is Japan paying any attention to all this Europe and Australia and America crowdfunding stuff?
No, from what I found, they do have crowdfunding platforms, but it's not that big there because they have so much to consume in a direct market
Yeah.
that they don't have to crowdfund. And if you want independent comics, you're going to look into doujinshi, which are usually not safe for work fanfics. And as an artist in Japan, you either become an assistant and then a mangaka, so a comic master, or you go into doshinshi because you can't draw.
Okay.
It's like there is no in between.
Well, that's from a production standpoint, but from a consumer standpoint too, they don't seem to
No,
really
no,
care
they
so
don't
much
have
because
to.
they have so much to pick from already.
Yeah.
So what I was leading to was, have you had any reaction from the Korean market?
No, not yet. I don't know how Martin is going to try and reach them. I think he's going to be translating it to Korean and then getting on the Korean webtoon.
Okay.
But I am not sure. I am leaving it out all to him. I have enough trouble getting all this published for myself.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see what happens when he gets it translated. I would love to see something break into those markets because those people buy comics, and if we can make a comic that they want, there'll be 82 million of them ordered.
Oh yeah.
I did the math on what was that last Demon Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I forget how many it was, but it was like a third of their total population.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, that means like there's grandmas reading this book, and there are CEOs with it in their desk drawer, in their offices, and their high towers. I'm like, you just don't walk into a business these days and walk in on your boss and he's reading a comic in his office. Well, maybe I would be, but and you do have you've got the backlog tier here as well. I mean, there's obviously there's no backlog for Radiant Sight, but if you want to jump in and get a whole bunch of Life on Korra, the complete set of Life on Korra.
Complete set of Life on Korra, 3 anthologies, of which 2 are comic anthologies, 1 writing anthology, 2 prose books, and the Scene Killer one in oversize.
This is everything that Faeries and Ents has done, isn't it?
Yes.
So
except for 2 books, because that series is discontinued. But if people are interested in seeing my very old art drawing humans, oh boy, I can throw those in as well. No worries.
You do have some add-ons, but if you want an extra copy, or if you want to get individual issues of Life on Korra, which is its own wonderful book. If you haven't read Life on Korra, I definitely recommend it to you. You can pick any issue and read it, and it's its own standalone thing. You're just basically learning about the world in slices, in bites, from different places. Eventually, I'm sure you'll start to see characters over again, and you might even get into a larger story arc that ties everything together in a certain way. But
we have a couple of 2-parters coming up, because my writers were enthusiastic, to which my reply is, oh my god, I have to draw it all. But my writers were enthusiastic.
Yes. Well, that's good. And, the more you have to print, the more you have to sell. So
yeah. Now, the next thing in the Life on Korra universe that I'm going to do is Il Hojo. Go into
Retro Game Warrior. So
the first volume. So we are going to do a first volume with the first 5 issues while I finish Life on Korra 6.
Oh, let me give you the big screen. There we go. Look at that.
I haven't even finished inking it yet. But there's a lot of rain and a lot of rendering of it. And this has been most of the comic so far. And oh my god. It's a lot of work.
Why do you do it?
Because look. If you look up masochist in the dictionary, right, you're going to see a comic book creator bent over on his art desk working on a comic. That is literally the definition of a masochist.
Well, I mean, because you break your back during your day job. I mean, you're moving freaking houses, and then to come back and rather than collapse in bed, you're like, I'm going to sit up for another 8 hours and get hand cramps.
Well, actually, it's not so bad. On moving days, I don't do any art. That's a rule that I keep to myself. However, because I have 6 people depending on me right now, there isn't a day when I'm either on a smoke break or just get home, have my bite. Um, I don't have direct messages and people talking and asking things. I get very little time off.
You need that.
Yes.
But so hopefully, when Life on Korra 5 is out, and because that's, like you said, it's in progress. You showed it.
No, that's 6.
you'll get
5 is on the way to you.
What's that?
That is issue 6 already. 5 is in 2 boxes behind me, waiting to be shipped out to you.
Oh,
together with plushies.
Here, just hand them over. Just push it
if only.
Yeah, that would cut shipping down tremendously.
Oh yeah, no. I just get a voice chat with everyone. I'm like, here.
Yes. Everybody
cut out the middleman, literally.
Well, all they got to do is just everybody go out and buy your own printer, and you just link it and network link it, and you just send it to the different printers. And
I mean, that is exactly what a fax was.
Yeah. Yeah. You just need a color fax with a collator and a stapler. It takes whatever the double A4 size is, so that you can fold it to the print size. Niobe, welcome, man. Glad to see you. I starred you. I don't know what that did. My mouse was in the wrong spot. I'm like, oh my God, did I just block him? I was like, crap, because my mouse jumps around on me sometimes. Glad to have you guys here in the chat. Always appreciate you popping in. We are looking at the Radiant site. I know we're talking about Life on Korra. Those are the add-ons down here. But seriously, just look. I don't know what to say about this book other than look at this. Yeah, seriously.
No. And before you're going, romance is not my thing. Trust me.
It's not mine.
Grew up on fairy tales. You're going to love this. This feels like a manga version of your Cinderellas. It feels like a manga of your Snow Whites. Yeah. It's a classic in the making with great art, great writing, and just beautiful color work that, a lot of colorists just can't tip.
Yeah.
And it's been a blast to work on.
Now, guys, you've been sitting in the chat listening to me saying, how cool this story is and how it reads and look how pretty it is. You have no idea what the story's about if you haven't read the page. Bitna, Kim Bitna is the plain girl on the left here. She's living in the slums. Life's not good for her. She's struggling to make ends meet. She and her roommate, splitting the rent. Through happenstance, they end up getting a lost invitation to a party being held by one of the richest guys in town. And her roommate's like, hey, I'm going to take it. She gets a dress. She gets ready to go to the party. In the meantime, Bitna is delivered a package by a lawyer. Says, hey, your aunt died. You inherited this. And she opens it, and it's this dress. So she's got the dress in the car when she takes her roommate to the party. Roommate leaves the invitation in the car. She tries to run it in. Said, hey, you can't get in without a dress. She's like, okay. So she puts the dress on, and it's like fairy godmother.
Just walking.
Yeah.
And nobody stops her. All the eyes are on her.
Yeah.
Right there.
Everybody's just enchanted by her, fawning over her, and she doesn't understand what happened. She doesn't understand why they're doing this. She doesn't see it, but everyone else does, including the big handsome prince, CEO of the foundation, who dances with her, and she's. If you know the Cinderella story, you know how this thing.
That's where it turns into Cinderella, but it gets way deeper than that. I just finished editing issue 2. And for the rest of the series, I am going to go with a different artist. And that is because the artist that we have for this one, while he's great, it wasn't the greatest work experience. And this girl, Kimmy Comics, and I will pull her up in a second so you can look at what she does.
We'd love to see it. Mike covered the review, by the way, on his channel. When he goes over stories. So earlier this week, that review got shared out to all the people listening to the Mic Stand. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate that, as always, pulling stories up. So here, this is Kimmy Comics. She
This
sounds
is a colleague of mine from the Netherlands. So the next issue is going to have signed copies by her.
Ooh,
And
like
she
signed.
just does amazing work. And she actually came to me because she heard me saying, "Hey, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna look for a new artist for this one." And she was like, "Hey, can we figure something out?" To which my reply is, "I don't think I can afford you." And she was like, "No, trust me, we can figure something out."
Oh, look at this.
There we
That's
go.
holy moly. That's amazing. Yeah, if
I love her
if she
work.
yeah, if she pulls off that style for Radiant Sight,
Yeah, she does.
she's got some awesome artwork out there. What's she
Mhm.
been published in so far? I mean, are these just all
She has been published in Oyasumi, a story about cats protecting humans from the ghosts that only they can see. Um, because, yeah, you see cats staring off in the distance into a corner or something, or getting angry at something that isn't there. That's the demons.
yes. Oh,
And to show you,
I've had
uh,
cats do that
yes,
in houses that I knew were haunted. So
here we go. To show it in her style. So this is Creator 1 versus Creator 2.
oh, I see. So yeah, the one on the left is the creator who's doing issue 1, and this is how she's going to look under
Yes.
creator 2. So she looks a little bit more Western on the right. She
Yes.
looks more Korean on the left.
I am gonna talk to her about that. Like, hey, try and focus on these little bits, in the facials, because we do want to keep that kind of aesthetic. But yeah, when it comes to her art, I trust her. She is she's got a very strong work ethic. She's working on several graphic novels in the Netherlands, which she's still under NDA for, but colleagues amongst each other talk.
Yes, of course.
But yeah, she's just a great person, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the pages come to life through her.
Well, if her Bitna looks that good, I can't wait to see how she draws her in the dress, because you have to
Mhm.
crank it up to 11 for the dress.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I don't want to hammer this too much, but I can't hammer it enough. It's you made 165 American dollars out of 528. 24 days to go. This is Kickstarter, folks. He doesn't get to go for another 30. So
Nope, this is it.
Get behind this one. This is if you looks like we're all guys in the chat. Romance probably not your thing. If you got a sister, a girlfriend, a mother, a wife, co-worker that reads romance comics, this is
Or
not
reads romance in general. Here's the thing, right?
It is
They
romance.
might go, yeah, well, it's a comic. I don't read comics. This is a great way to share your hobby with them.
Exactly. Yeah, sometimes the comics you buy shouldn't be for yourself, but to get other people to read them. And you're like, this is a genre of books that I know you like, and oh, it's a comic. Hey, this is welcome to my world. Do you want to talk a little bit while we still got some time here before the top of the hour about Sin Killer?
Totally.
I'll let you try it.
Yeah.
Because you are publishing that, and Sin Killer #2 is in the works. Marv is, I don't know how far along he is in that yet, but
he is done. The comic is done. I actually put together the PDF for it this morning. And even though there's some proofreading that needs to happen, and I need to go over, him being Portuguese and English being far from his first language, wow, it's good. And I'm blown away. If you liked issue 1, and trust me, he's done amazing on issue 1, issue 2 ups the ante so much. He is absolutely amazing, and you can get some amazing original pieces of art in there.
That's the one thing that because I shipped Sin Killer 1 for him. And I have never had so much original art show up with a package before.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, we got 3 pages. This guy did everything traditionally, and I think I had the whole book in the pages.
Yeah, no, trust me, I had the other half because I was fulfilling for him through here.
Yeah. And if there wasn't a page, it was a sketch. He did drawings for everybody. I don't think a single package of that went out that didn't have.
Hold on, let me grab some of his because I still have some.
Yeah, so if you back this, guys, you're going to get a really good package. Let me give Mike the full screen.
He tends to give away a lot.
Yeah, he's going to get to the point where he's going to realize who he is and what he can do. And stop doing that.
I've got him claimed for something already. Don't worry.
He goes to conventions. Now it must take forever to do one of those pages just because of all the ink that has to be laid down.
Yeah, but he does most of it digitally. He started issue 1 traditionally.
Okay.
But then he got his iPad, which his colleague crowdfunded for him amongst each other. And without him knowing, and they got him an iPad and an Apple Pencil. And he's been working in Procreate to create everything else. So what you're actually seeing in issue 1, and if I grab it right now. So these pages are original traditional art.
Right.
But everything outside of the... so these pages are completely digital. And you can't really tell the difference because he's just nailed it.
Yeah,
like you can, and because it's a flashback where he uses the traditional art, it feels more like a flashback. It feels like a use of the scans more than it's one versus the other. And in this one, he did all the pages digitally and printed a couple and did those traditionally. And those are available on the campaign right now.
Yeah, and
2 of them already went.
He uses so much black when he does his traditional pages. I had Gambino on the other night, last night, and he does the same thing. His pages are just like, I was like, do you have to hang those pages up to dry? Because they must be like, dish rags by the time you're done inking them.
Yeah. And I mean, even my pages for Laugh on Cora, where I'm not that heavy of a black user, they start to crinkle after a while.
Yes. Yeah, they just it's liquid. You're soaking up liquid.
No, this it's dark, it's gritty. Story is great. He actually follows a new character, Gabriel, which is the crow that you're seeing over here, that John, the priest, the main character from the first issue, brought back to life. And Gabriel witnesses the murder of the witch. And Gabriel decides to break the rules a little, where John, after, if you've read issue 1, made the decision to never resurrect humans again. He breaks the rule and resurrects the woman. And now the witch is out for revenge.
See, that's why you don't resurrect them. They've got unsettled issues that they need to resolve.
This is going to be a 4-issue miniseries.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, like he's going hard at this. He wants to get this one done and wants to get the next part of this out in November.
Lock him into a contract right now that is going to cost the next publisher a lot of money to get him out of.
I don't take rights.
I know.
I don't take intellectual property. I take publishing rights. Why? Because I think that everyone should have the freedom to create whatever they want, however they want it. If I want your book, I want the book. Whatever you do around it is entirely up to you.
You just be the exclusive publisher until some other publisher says, "Okay, we're going to buy you out."
No, I don't do it. I don't do exclusivity because I'm still so small. and I do sick deals. I'll give you that. But
I've done 99% royalty deals on books. So yeah, I get you. I just want content, please. Frog G's got the link out there. I mean, Frog G is so much of a mensch at working this stuff. He even I mentioned an artist obliquely, and he finds the work that we were doing about the other night, and there's the link. So
Frog
man, you
is best wrench.
Yeah, he's super at it. And Mike's getting ready to start the mic stand, so yeah, be ready to switch channels as soon as we're done here in just a few minutes. But look at this. I love that this is black and gray and white, and it's like it's not like a monochromatic gray scale.
No,
where there's different shades of gray, and you get the little stippling effects and whatever the dots are that show up. This is like, yeah, we got 3 colors. We got white, we got black, and we got this specific shade of gray.
Look, we're going Game Boy on this, okay? We got 4 colors, and you're gonna do with it.
It's like that scene in Stranger Things. It's got 16 bits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're so small. Aren't you like 7'3"? Frog?
No, I'm 6'8". Sorry, Frog. Close up.
Very close though. You're just about that far off.
Well, I mean, 12 inches is like a foot, right?
That's what she said. Correctly. Yeah.
So, yeah, that would be like this much.
Ooh, now is she a character in the book, or is this just something he drew?
No, this is random pieces of art. So, okay, we were going to launch at Sketchy Saturdays last week, right? You were there.
Yeah.
I was building this campaign literally up until 3 minutes before we went live. Because, okay, so I walk in, right? About an hour before we start talking, and he was like, oh, I got these extra original pieces of art that I'm just going to give away to people that back the original pages. And he drops them to me, like, right? And I'm like, dude, don't. Like, seriously, I'm going to make these separate tiers, right? And he is going against it. Max DeVille comes in, starts saying exactly the same thing. And I literally put everything in, get everything ready. 3 minutes before we go live, half an hour later, we launch. 2 pieces get sold within 2 minutes.
Yeah. This is he doesn't know what he's got.
No, he doesn't. He really doesn't.
And this is actually such a departure style from what he's doing in Sin Killer.
Yeah.
So,
but this is all the work.
He's not an artist who's got this is my look.
Yeah.
He's got variations.
You recognize the hand, but you know he has every kind of style, and he uses all of them. And yeah, he is just one hell of a creator, and I can't support him enough. But yeah, like the shark with the girl on top, that one went immediately, and page 8, which is just beautiful splash page. So yeah.
Has that one funded yet? Because
it is.
You sell original art that gets
88% funded. Let's find out. Am I clicking correctly? Yes. Yeah, still 10 backers. He is 60 euros away from funding. Like that is nothing. Like
he throws another piece of original art in there. Boom, it's funded. It's done. And you guys just started, and this is Indiegogo, so he can extend on this one.
Oh yeah, and I'm going to make him. He won't have a say in this.
Well, you're the publisher. You're like, you're running the show. You're marketing.
I mean, he's going to fulfill this one on his own. But I am helping him promote because he isn't too great at it. But yeah, I got to get him up there because he deserves it. And I know that this book sells.
Yeah, and I got to find out his fulfillment deal too, because he's got a great fulfillment.
Platform. No, like, I'm so jealous. Yeah, no, I'm gonna look into that too, because I think I have to emigrate to Portugal.
Yeah, Yeah,
Ooh,
well,
boy.
it's cheaper cost of living, and
No, it's just great working with these people and to be able to get things to roll like this. This is a dream come true, and I didn't even know I had the dream 5 years ago.
yes, I've had those. I completely understand where you come from, and I can't wait to see Faeries and Ents become one of the premier European publishers in independent comics, to the degree that people actually know who they are when you say them.
Yeah,
And I think that's going to start happening with a lot of independent creators. And I'll say this: I don't think it's going to be the great big names that people think of when they
no,
talk about crowdfunded comics.
it's the ones that persevere.
Yeah,
It's the ones that don't give up, that took the last 2 years by the horns and went, okay, we can't go outside. There's no conventions. Let's get shit done.
yeah,
Because
yeah, and actually got it done.
and actually got done. Yeah,
Didn't
like,
talk about it for a long time, and got it out at a snail's pace.
mhm.
Because there are people out there who are just hammering books out. Michael Oden,
Yeah,
Nine Realms Publishing. He's always got a book out there going, and they're always high quality books. Um,
yeah, no,
I could, if I sat and thought about it long enough, I could come up with others. Um,
yeah,
Randy Zimmerman, another guy who's just he's paid his dues like 10 times in this industry. It's time for him to break out and become
yes,
known
he
nationwide as well.
deserves so much more. With all the things that happened in the last year to him,
Oh
and
yeah,
to Luke and all the other creators that are associated with Arrow. Yeah.
got my
Oh
got
man,
my
I'm
package.
still waiting on mine.
Oh,
Ah.
they didn't go through. No, well, I'm kidding.
Well,
Um,
you know.
Yeah, the Embrace 2 it's coming soon. Yes, get out there and sign up for the Embrace 2 because I I backed the SPQR one because I had to get the Embrace plushie. We had an 18-inch plushie, and I'm in the chat. I got the book and I got the plushie, and it was like the closeout, and I'm like, I understand why I'm buying these things, but why am I paying shipping? Because I am his fulfillment service. I'm like, this doesn't make sense for some reason.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah. All right, man. We are at the top of the hour, and I do appreciate you staying up late. Like I said, I wish I could have done it during the day for you.
Yeah, well,
insane hours.
that's how it goes.
Yeah, it's the sacrifice you make to make your industry, your business happen. So,
Exactly.
folks, click the links. Get out there. Back Sin Killer #2. Back Radiant Sight #1. That's the one that's furthest behind. Sin Killer's going to happen. Throw some money at it if you haven't already, but go throw Radiant
We
Sight.
can really use the help. Share it out. It really makes a difference.
Yes.
And if you want to know whatever else we do, the link tree is /Faeries and Ents for my website, my Twitter, my Facebook, Instagram, and all the other things. And hit me up anytime if you have a series that you would like to see published in the Netherlands. Hit me up too, because I am actually looking for more books.
Okay, that's the call to action, folks. And after all the links Frog has put in here, I would be remiss if I did not highlight that he has his own campaign coming soon. So get out there and hit up Voodoo, Gods, and Magic, folks. Click that link. Yeah, you don't even have to spend money on this right now. Just say, yeah, tell me more about it. Click that
Exactly.
remind me link so that you can get the email notifications. Cost you nothing. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you'll probably be first in line for something super cool that happens just to the people who click that link. That's usually how people work these campaigns. So everybody in the chat, thank you so much for showing up tonight. We don't have a show without you. Like I say, we're just a podcast falling in the woods if you're not here. So we're glad that you are here. And while you were here, we just hope you had a blast. Good night, everybody.
Stay on.